All right, this is another video, unpopular opinion with Yeshiva University. This came up while I was looking for information on the nurses, and this came up. This was very interesting. Basically, it's a battle of First Amendment rights, freedom of religion, taking public money, requesting the request of some LGBTQ students to have a club within Yeshiva University. So here's some backstory. Yeshiva University is a Jewish Orthodox school, right? That's how it started. And they refuse to recognize a student club that is LGBTQ based. So basically, the LGBTQ students on campus want to start a club, and Yeshiva University is not acknowledging that club. They have a name, but I'm not going to put the name out there, basically. So they went to court, and Yeshiva University is basically saying we are a religious institution, and we're not violating human rights law, because we're religious and we're standing on the basis of our religion is why we're not going to support this LGBTQ student club. However, Yeshiva University have a public bond for over $230 million. So basically, some of it will be given for free, but they borrowed public money to fix up their dormitories, to renovate, and to help pay off some debts that they have. So this is public money. And if you know anything about borrowing public money, you have to pay it back, but there are ways to not pay it back. There's loopholes. Like, are they gonna get all $230 million to themselves? Absolutely not. Are they gonna pay back $230 million with interest? Absolutely not. Basically, you're borrowing from the public, and there's ways to get out of not paying them back. For example, like the PPP loans, they started out as payroll loans. If you had a company and you needed to make payroll, it was a loan. A lot of them have been forgiven. Just Google those people in the White House and see how much millions of dollars they were forgiven, yet they're blocking the student loan forgiveness program. The hypocrisy of it all just kills me, coalesced with the caucasity of it all, right? So basically, so what has happened, this whole situation has triggered an audit by the state. The state is now auditing them, and they want to know where every single dollar of that money went, because there's some misrepresentation going on. Because Yeshiva University, although it started out as a Jewish Orthodox institution, has now classified itself as a secular institution so that they can qualify for this money. So to get the $230 million, they said they're secular, non-religious, and now when it comes to recognizing the LGBTQ club, they're now religious. So that has triggered an audit, and that is where the kerfuffle comes in, because you can't pick and choose what you want to be for the benefit of what you want to get. Either you're religious and you don't qualify for that $230 million, or you are religious and you can then now deny this student club because it violates you in your religiousness institution, right? You can't pick and choose. That's the issue, and that's where it comes in. That's where the problem, comes in. And I found it very interesting, because I worked at a college that while I was working there, the director and a lot of other people came up on fraud charges for selling degrees and changing grades, and pretty much it was a big thing. And this was a Jewish institution. Now, I am smart enough to know that I believe believe this was an isolated incident and not what was happening all around. The school has a very good reputation. It's international. They have a very good medical program and a very good teaching program. But this was happening. And it was my direct boss. And I didn't know, obviously, because I didn't go to jail. I didn't know. And I wasn't a part of it. Duh. I didn't know. But it happened, right? So what am I trying to say without sounding Kanye-ish is the propensity to do these things are not lost on me based on the demographic and the ethnic, religious peoples involved. I don't know how that sounds. Sound good, right? Also, Yeshiva University goes on to quote and say that to force them to accept this club would be a violation of their First Amendment rights, the freedom to practice their religion, how they want to practice it. And I think that's not the issue. If you are a Jewish college and you are a religious institution, that is fine. But you cannot change your status to get public monies and then not maintain that status and accept everything that comes with it. That's the issue. And all of the representatives' quotes that came out of Yeshiva University did not address the misrepresentation. It just talked about how we're allowed to do these things because we're religious, and said that the state cannot not give them the money because they're religious. However, yes, they can. There's other monies that you could have been approved for based on your religious status, your religious educational institution status. But this specific money for dormitory was non-religious based, and I believe the state and the federal government is allowed to do that because I'm not Jewish, I'm not anything, and I believe that if I give my tax-paying money to an institution that then is allowed to discriminate, because that's what it is, based on their religious views to maintain their freedom of speech, they are not all inclusive, then my money, I don't want my money going there. So that is the issue. And that was a article, a very small article in the New York Times. And trust me, it's not lost on me as to, this is a very big news story. 230 million state dollars is a lot of money. This is not federal money, people. This is New York state money. Yeshiva University getting $230 million, even if it's a bond, is a lot of money from the taxpayers. Why isn't this a big story? We all know why. Who runs Hollywood? There's actually a documentary on how Hollywood was started, and it is started by Jewish people because they were discriminating against with the arts by the masses. So they went out and they started their own. What's the GM? Those are Jewish last names. So yeah, it's like, you're not gonna accept our art, fuck it, we'll start our own. And they became big, like Tyler Perry. Marvel now pays Tyler Perry to shoot their shit. Most of your Marvel movies are shot at Tyler Perry Studios, if you did not know. Tyler couldn't get his movies made, so he did the Chitlin Circuit, did some very shitty movies, like production wise, to get his money up, and opened Tyler Perry Studios. And he talks about why and how he made the money in the beginning, by taking losses, potential losses, when filming, not taking the big checks, but getting his money longevity on the back end by filming and producing his own movies. I could say that more articulate, but I'm trying to stay on track. Anyway, that's how Hollywood was started, basically by Jewish people who couldn't get their movies made, and they said, fuck it, we'll start our own shit. So that's how I feel. Pick a side. Yeshiva University, are you secular or are you religious? It's fine, whatever you choose. But you cannot hop in and out of the secular, non-secular educational institution pool for your own gain. It's called fraud. It's not just morally wrong, it's illegal. And I'm going to follow up on this story because somebody is either going to have to pay a fine and go in to jail. Okay? Somebody's going to jail. And it's probably going to be some flunky who is not important to them. Probably a paid scapegoat. And I think just in Yeshiva University has like 6,000 students, which would be a shame if they lost that $230 million funding, because not all 600 of them are Jewish. I know Albert Einstein in the Bronx is a good medical college. That's Jewish based. I think that's part of Yeshiva University. When I used to drive by there, it was a lot of black and brown people with scrubs walking in and that building. So it wasn't just only Jewish people. And it would be a shame to them, because that money is not coming out of the pockets of the higher ups. It will come out of the students who are already paying probably a boatload of money, because it's a private institution. It's not public. They make money. Let's see, what else? Oh, and Yeshiva University wants to take this on the federal level. And just a little tidbit, since 2020, since Amy Coney Barrett, she was the Trump Supreme Court justice that came in, a lot of these cases of religious freedom they won, and they attribute that to her. So anyway, they might win, on the Fed level. They might lose on the state, but they might win on the Fed level. All right, Yeshiva University, pick a side, any side.